I'd say this was the worst day yet for the Albanese government, and it confirmed something for me. Now, I know Anthony Albanese hasn't even been Prime Minister for, 10 months yet, but he is already looking like the most untrustworthy, manic and dangerous one we've had since I don't know when. Worse even than Gough Whitlam. Nice bloke, but blind to the facts and totally out of his depth. Now today, just one more example. We've just had Albanese say he'll cut super concessions for people with balances of $3 million after saying before the election, no changes to super at all. And when a government that's so desperate for your money pulls that kind of low stunt, it's no wonder people are now saying, well, what's next? What else is this bloke going to do to us? Would Albanese say, even now hit us with a capital gains tax on our family home? And would you believe it? Treasurer Jim Chalmers, who's sure got that hungry look about him, he wouldn't even rule that out this morning. And he didn't fail to rule it out once, like it was, some slip of the tongue or something, 3 times in 3 different interviews.
That you absolutely guarantee no change ever to the capital gains tax exemption on our family home. You can just say yes, I guarantee that.
Well, I can say to your viewers that we haven't been focused on it, we haven't been working on it.
Those other measures are off the table. You won't touch deductions, the capital gains tax discount and the like?
Yeah, we're not focused on those.
Can you explicitly say now to the Australian people there will be no changes to negative gearing, nothing to capital gains tax this term?
Well, I think what we made clear yesterday, we released all of that detailed information about all of the tax breaks in the system, and we said that our priority is superannuation.
That's where we run the theme from Jaws. Dum, 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 this guy's coming. What a total debacle. Now, the Prime Minister, listening to this, he must have freaked in the lodge, had to come screaming over the top of his treasurer to hose down this bonfire that Chalmers had started.
Can you rule it out?
Well, we have no, yes. We are not going to impact the family home.
Why not?
Full stop, exclamation mark. Because we're not going to.
But why not? What's the policy?
Because it's a bad
rationale?
idea.
Now, Chalmers must have got a rocket because he then came out several hours later and said, oh, I misspoke. There will be no tax on your home. Sorry about all that. But these two guys are clearly not on the same page, and there is talk of tension between them, which is no surprise to me because Chalmers is a man in a hurry who wants Albanese's job one day. He's made it perfectly clear. Meanwhile, though, it looks like these two guys are just making it up as they go along. They're making a pig's breakfast of it too. Let me repeat from this example, and they've got more coming, this government is already threatened to be worse than Gough Whitlam's. It's untrustworthy, it's manic, and it's certainly more dangerous than Whitlam. Let me explain. I said you can't trust it. And how could you? Did Albanese before the election tell you to do any of these radical things he's doing now? Before the election, he swore he had a plan. But did it include any of this?
We have a very clear plan for a better future for Australia. Only Labor has a plan for a better future.
We heard so much about the plan, didn't actually get to see anything of it, I think. Where in that magical plan was there even a hint that Albanese would make these super changes just for a start? In fact, he ruled it out.
We have no intention of making any super changes.
Or go further, where in that great plan he kept talking about just 10 months ago did Albanese say, oh, by the way, elect us and we're going to hit gas and coal companies with price caps and potential bans on exports that are frightening investors away? That all just came later out of the blue as well. In that plan that he was waving around, did he say anywhere that he'd let unions drag in smaller companies in any industrial brawl with a big one? That was another surprise that left employers shocked. And what had been in Albanese's plan, or at least some key promises, they were clearly lies.
Labor has real lasting plans for cheaper electricity, cheaper mortgages.
We've got a plan that we're releasing today about cheaper mortgage repayments.
It will see electricity prices fall from the current level by $275 for households.
Seen those cheaper electricity prices, cheaper mortgages anywhere lately? I mean, seriously. And the way this is going, have you got any idea? Well, this bloke will dream up next. Okay, I also said Albanese was manic. Now, you know, we could maybe forgive Albanese's backflips if it seemed he was ditching his ideologies to react to real-world problems, changing facts, changing circumstances. But no. In fact, Albanese does the opposite. His government is so besotted with its crusades that it tramples all over the facts and the real-world concerns that voters have. For instance, most Australians are freaking now about the cost of living. You know, sky-high inflation, rising interest rates, as Sky News' Andrew Colonel found today when he went on a door knock in the New South Wales election campaign.
What are the issues at the moment for you?
At the moment, financial. Our mortgage rates have gone up 50% year on year. January last year we bought this house and our mortgage was about $4,500. This month our mortgage is $7,000 a month.
So you can see, I mean, people are really worried about costs, just getting ahead, just keeping the house over the, you know, house payments going. Yet nothing seems to obsess this Prime Minister more than the Voice, this kind of Aboriginal-only parliament. I mean, even now he's been getting, you know, his priority was getting top 7 sports codes to nag us about it. It's like he's totally obsessed with making race history when we need him now to focus on the here and now of people's lives. And finally, I said this government was dangerous. Well, how many examples do you want? Just look for a start what Albanese will do to our democracy by creating a voice that will allow a few Aboriginal activists to stop governments from acting without their advice. Gum up the works, great. Or look how the government just can't stop spending. It's still feeding an inflation that's making us all poorer, 7.4% now. But most of all, check out Albanese's other manic crusade, global warming. His government's got this total fantasy that we face a climate catastrophe, and it's got this even more fantastical idea that little Australia can stop this emergency by slashing its emissions. Totally false. I mean, but what pain isn't this government prepared to inflict on you in this mad campaign? I mean, it's forcing more coal-fired power stations to shut, 2 big ones in New South Wales just this year, when we're already running short of electricity. And there goes your power bills, up and up. It's frightening. This is a government that seems totally without a plan, totally unfussed by facts or practical realities, totally obsessed by its grand crusades, and totally deaf to what most Australians actually want and need. Worse than Whitlam, watch and weep